Hi, friends. I have not done a YouTube live in so long. Let's see if I can get the light a little bit more flattering, because it looks like I have a mustache right now, even though I don't. It's at that weird time of day where it's like, I don't know, getting a little bit more gloomy. So hopefully, there we go. Hello, everyone. So for my first YouTube live in a really long time, I'm going to be unboxing this deck, the Spells deck. And so it is released by Chronicle Books. You can see the little Chronicle Books logo here. And it is created by Cat Cabral, as we can see here, with illustrations by Kim Knoll. So I got this from a local new witchy bookstore here in Toronto. Pretty exciting. It looks really beautiful. And it looks so beautiful that I had to open it and like take off the plastic wrap rather than doing it live on video. But now I kind of regret that I did that, because then I would have had video evidence that there's a card missing, as I counted them. So there's actually a card missing from this deck. It's supposed to be 78 cards, and I'll count it again for you guys just to make sure. Maybe I'm losing my mind and count properly. So there is a missing card. There's also duplicate cards in this deck, and the printing is like off balance. So I was so disappointed, because I feel like I talked to one of the creators and I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited to have your deck. It looks so cute. But I feel like Chronicle Books, the printer, for some reason really fucked this up, and I just feel really sad about it. And so I don't know if it's just the copy that I got, but I'm sure that it's not just one deck that would be messed up from a misprinting. Like, so I feel like a lot of people who got this deck, unfortunately, probably got this weirdly printed version of it. And so I just want to start off by saying that, because I'm upset about it. And I did actually email Chronicle Books about this issue, and I did that a few months ago, and they did not respond to me, unfortunately. So here I am going to be airing out the dirty laundry regardless. So, okay. Anyway, on to the deck. So you'll see it kind of comes in this little box. And to be honest, the outside box is really nice. Like, I really love this kind of gold embossing. And I'll just read what this says. It says 78 charms, remedies, and rituals for the modern mystic. Very cute, very abstract. It looks great on my bedside table. On the back, it says, enhance your life with magic. This enchanting deck features 78 rituals, spells, and recipes for love, empowerment, healing, and so much more, brimming with alluring illustrations and powerful practices rooted in ancient traditions. This illuminating deck makes it easy to infuse each day with the wonders of magic. Very cute. And this back, it kind of shows you what the card looks like. So this is how everything is supposed to be printed, like where it's supposed to sit on the card. And as I go through this video, you guys will see that that's not the case for a lot of the cards, which makes me very sad. But I personally do love the abstract art, the color scheme, like the gold highlights, the accents. Personally, I really love that. Like, this really appeals to my aesthetics. And I actually found it to be really reasonably priced. So in Canada, this is $25. And so I know most of you guys are probably American, and so the conversion is probably $20 American or even less. So I thought the price point was pretty good, because a lot of these decks do end up costing a decent amount of money. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But it is going to be a risk on, is your deck going to be messed up like mine was? And like I said, Chronicle Books hasn't got back to me, so I haven't, unfortunately, been able to get a replacement, as it's kind of ruined the deck for me that I got this like weirdly misprinted version. It just makes me bummed out. So we'll see. Maybe if I send them this video when it's up, maybe they will send me a new copy. Who knows? One other thing I wanted to flag is that you'll notice this box is like not constructed the best. I don't know if you guys can kind of see that, but you'll see that there's like this lip of this box is just, it's not, I don't know how to show you guys, but it's kind of like hanging over which is not really what I kind of want to be experiencing when I have a new deck. Like I want the box to be pretty much perfect and dreamy the whole way through. So you can see it's just like not really going there quite the way you want it to. So before I get into the cards, I want to show you guys this little pamphlet thing that it comes with, the spells deck. And so you'll see that it is stitched. That is how it's bound. It's not very many pages. There's a tiny little thing that comes with the deck. So let's open it and see. And so we open it and it looks like this. Pretty cute. And I'll just read the contents. Welcome to the spells deck, how to use this deck, the practice of witchcraft, using the cards, the guide for witchcraft. And then it splits that into magical days of the week, phases of the moon, wheel of the year, using the cards as a divination tool, categories of cards. So I did read this back when I bought this, which was honestly a few months ago now. I was like so excited to open this. It just looked so cute. So it's the kind of little mini guide to all of this stuff. Very cute. I have a little bit of information about magical timing, if that is something that anyone needs. So let's see what else. And so what's really interesting about this deck is it is split into different chunks, right? Categories of cards. So which is tools. So I'll just read these out because it's going to be really helpful as we get into actually looking at the cards and seeing what they look like and what types of prompts and spells and rituals that each card is suggesting. So categories of cards, number 1, which is tools, useful tools, which is used to work magic, including the pentacle and altar, the book of shadows. Number 2, language of magic, symbols of the occult used to invoke various energies that can be carved on candles or drawn on letters of intention for casting spells. Number 3, and I love that they did number 3 for this, always reminds me of the Empress Tarot card with the 3, bonds of love, love, sensuality, healing arts, and self-love. So that's kind of cute. Number 4, abundance and good fortune. So manifestation, employment, financial gain, good fortune. Number 5, rites of purification and renewal, healing, protection, cleansing, and connecting with the earth. Number 6, fires of passion and creativity, passion, creativity, courage, and confidence. Number 7, intuitive awareness, enhancing intuition, divination, and meditation. Number 8, witches' familiars, animal guides that appear on our path, revealing messages from the rich mythology. So this is just a little bit of a mini little guidebook for some of this. And so I did end up shuffling these and drawing my own card, but what I will do for you guys is to kind of recategorize them and put them into little piles so you guys can kind of see what is going on with this deck. And so just to kind of give you guys a little bit of an idea of what it looks like when it is out of the box. And again, I wish I did not already remove the plastic from this, but whatever, I was like too excited. So you'll see there's abstract imagery on the back of each of these. And so let me just actually comment on how these cards feel in the hand. Personally, I do find it a little bit too big, just slightly for my own hand. So let me compare it to the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. So this is a card actually that I drew for today. And so you'll see that it's significantly bigger, like it's longer and a little bit more wide than a typical Rider-Waite-Smith card. So if that's a little bit easier for you guys to see. So if you want to compare how this is going to feel in your hand, if you just compare it to how you typically interact with a classic Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you'll see that it's quite a bit bigger, right? And so if you, personally for myself, the Rider-Waite-Smith classic deck is like the perfect size for my hands. I find it very easy to work with. I never drop anything. It's the perfect deck for me, to be honest with you. And so if you do have bigger hands, you probably won't have much of a problem with this deck. If you have small hands, then you might find it a little bit unwieldy. So for me, it does kind of feel a little bit on, like you'll notice my hands here as I'm trying to shuffle this. It's like a little bit uncomfortable. It's like my hand is like stretched kind of. And like you'll notice that this finger is like, I can't even kind of make it the whole way to the deck. So that's something to keep in mind if you're looking for like ease of shuffling in your deck. Let me just see, how do I feel about, yeah, it's very unwieldy to shuffle. I find it too long, personally. The cards are kind of matte. They're a bit of a matte feeling, which feels good. I don't know what I would change about the cards, but I feel like something. It feels like the cards kind of get stuck together a little bit when I'm shuffling. And as you'll see, one just kind of fell because it was a little bit too big for my hands. Anyway, maybe you won't have this problem. So let's see. Yeah, it feels like a bit unwieldy to shuffle. That's just kind of my opinion. And so I do want to just put these into little piles, and I'll do that right now. And if anyone does have any questions about this deck, 'cause I know there's a few of you guys watching live, please let me know. And until then, I'll just keep kind of putting these all in their own little piles so that I can show you a little walkthrough category by category, because I did shuffle these a little bit earlier. So if anyone is watching this still, please put in the chat, like, feel free to say hello. And I know I did put on slow mode for this. I don't know if I should have, but if anyone has any questions, let me know. Maybe I put on way too of slow mode. I don't know. Still getting used to YouTube since I am so much more of an Instagram person, but it's been kind of cool to learn more about YouTube. Okay, just putting these all out in their little piles. So I'm going to show you guys the different categories. And as you can kind of probably hear, the cards don't really they don't have an ease of movement. I don't really know like what I would change though. Like they just feel a bit, I don't know if it's just how they're cut. Like it just feels kind of like they're getting caught on my fingers and on each other, which is not really how I want a deck to feel. And I know that the artist often is going to have no input to that. This would just be an issue with the producer, the publishing company, and probably whatever printer they hired if they're not printing it in-house. I know a lot of these folks are hiring production companies in China or other cheaper countries to produce their decks. So if anyone does have any questions or anything that you want to make sure I go over in this video, please put it in the chat and I will reply. Let's see. And I'll show you guys a little abstract art on the back of these. I do like the art on these actually, even though, yeah, you guys will see some of the problems as we go through this video. And it breaks my heart that there are these problems with this deck, to be honest. Like I really wanted to have like nothing bad to say. Because like I talked to one of the creators on Instagram and she was like the sweetest person ever and just like so nice. So I'm like, no, I hate that I have to say this. Okay, so hi friends. Okay, so let's just see. And I've got a cat jumping on me. So let's just see. Let me just do it in order, actually. What was the first category? It was Witch's Tools, category number 1. So let me see if I can find that pile for you guys. The Witch's Tools pile. Okay, cool. I got it. Okay, so let me just make sure these are all correct. Yeah, okay. So this, let's see. So, thank you for commenting, Maya Starlily. There's 78 cards. Is it related to tarot or is it more of an oracle? Like the spells are mapped onto the suits and such. Amazing question. So what's really interesting about this deck, I actually don't know why they chose 78 cards. Like, it doesn't really seem like there's any reason. Because there are, as you said, 78 cards in the tarot, but honestly, this deck doesn't really seem to have anything whatsoever to do with the tarot, like at all. There's 8 different categories of cards, and it seems like a little bit of a different number of of cards in each category. So it doesn't really seem like it's equally kind of spread out. Like there's definitely more cards in some categories than others. And I don't know if you just logged on, but this is just an example of some of the types of categories in this deck. And so it doesn't really strike me as an oracle deck per se, which is kind of part of why I was so excited about it actually, is it doesn't really seem, although I think there's a section in here using the cards as a divination tool, like so that they do kind of address that, like how to use it as a divination tool. And it basically just says choose a card every day and like meditate with the card if you're going to use it for divination. But I actually don't personally see this as a divination deck. It seems more like a deck that you're going to work with to kind of get some inspiration for some rituals that you might do, or to get more in touch with your spirituality. And since it's specifically spells, it seems more like it's to do with broadening your daily connection to ritual and magic, is kind of what it seems like to me, that it's supposed to be a bit of an inspirational kind of jumping off point, particularly for newer witchy folks, I would say. So let me just go through some of these cards with you guys. I want to go through that first category. So this is the back of the cards for Witches Tools, and you can see it's a pretty beautiful little abstract thing. And I'll just show you some of the backs of the other different categories before getting into it, so you can kind of see the difference. There's a different color scheme for the back of each deck. And so if anyone is really into abstract art, like personally, this is totally my aesthetic. Like I love this type of art. So it is pretty cool, very abstract. It's not very figurative. If you are someone who doesn't really feel very drawn to figurative types of representations of magic, maybe you are going through some stuff with your gender, or you don't really resonate with images of people for whatever reason, this could be a really interesting deck because there is no representation of people. Here we just do have some abstract imagery on the back of each of these different categories. So as you can see, there's just kind of a different abstract image on the back to mark each different category. There are different colors. There's kind of a different colors swatches, kind of abstract. And then each does have this kind of gold accent color. It doesn't show up too well on the video, but hopefully you can kind of see what I mean. So I do personally like that aesthetically, but let me just go over some of these to give you guys an idea of what types of things. And so one thing I will say that personally I found very sad is that this booklet does not list all the different cards. Right? So this is all the information that I have about all the different categories, right? It doesn't say how many cards are in each category. It doesn't say which cards are in each category. And I'll count it again today on video for you guys. Maybe I miscounted earlier, but from what I counted before, and again, maybe I miscounted, I actually don't have all the cards, and I did actually get a double of a card. So I don't know. I'm missing maybe more than one card of this deck, and I don't really know which ones those would be because this little booklet doesn't list out what each of those cards is. And so that is a bit of like a deflating balloon, like wah wah noise for me. So that's kind of like sad. And again, like none of this is the creator's fault. I think this would just be a production kind of issue. And Maya is saying, if you keep pestering the publisher, maybe they'll send you a replacement. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to send them this video and be like, I really wanted this to be perfect, but it isn't. So, okay, let me just show you guys some of these. So for this category, this was the Witches Tools category, which they list as category number 1. So I'll just show you guys all at once, and then I'll do kind of one by one. I feel like I have to sneeze. So if I sneeze, I'm sorry. Oops. So this is kind of what the design looks like, right? This is kind of how everything is supposed to be laid out, and I will go one by one. But just remember this because there's going to be cards where everything is kind of cut off and it's like weird. So anyway, let's just talk about it. So here's an example from the Witch's Tools category. So it says circle. To cast a circle, light 4 candles, 1 for each element, and starting with the east, place a candle in the east, south, west, and north points of the circle. So I'll just read this so you guys can get an idea of like the type of things that this deck is suggesting that folks do. Next, light a candle representing divine spirit, ignite purifying incense in your cauldron. Starting in the east, walk around the circle, holding up your cauldron, honoring each element. Repeat with your cup, sprinkling water around the circle. Next, walk around the circle with your athame, visualizing a purple light, pausing at each direction to welcome the elements. Finally, call in divine spirit, holding up your wand in the sky. Circle is cast. Proceed with meditation, spells, cakes, and wine. To close, say farewell to divine spirit and walk counterclockwise in the circle, saying farewell to the elements and snuffing out candles. So I don't want to be a critic, but I actually find I wouldn't even, if I was going to label this, I would not label that as circle. I would label that as calling the quarters. Because you actually, in my opinion, don't need to call the quarters to cast a circle. I know this is no disrespect to anybody. Everyone's kind of going to do things their own way, but I just want to throw that out there. And so what that tells me is that this deck probably has a little bit of like some Wiccan flavor, some Wiccan kind of bias around how things are going to be organized. And part of the reason why I say that too is because like the athame, let me just see, like that this is a very Wiccan way to cast a circle. Personally, whenever I cast a circle, I actually sometimes I will call the quarter, sometimes I won't, but I do see them as kind of two different activities that often happen at the same time. So that's something else to keep in mind, right? So with this deck, as with anything witchy, like do go in with an open mind. Feel free to embrace what resonates and to discard what doesn't, right? Because this is not necessarily the way that everyone is going to want to cast a circle. Whenever I teach what is described here, I call that again as calling the quarters, because you can actually cast a circle without calling the quarters. That's my opinion. So I just want to leave that there, and I'll do a few more to see just how this give you guys an idea of some of the different things for this deck. So here we've got another one. It says, my cat is stepping on all of the cards. She's very interested. So wand, and there's like a little illustration there of a little stick, very cute. And so I'll just read it for you guys so you can see, and I'll show you guys the back. Wand. The wand, a tool representing fire and active energy, is best found in nature. A wand is only as powerful as the actions, words, and energies behind it. Walk in a wooded area around Mabon. So again, if you don't know what Mabon is, that is probably going to be very confusing. And so if you guys don't know, Mabon is the Wiccan name for the autumn equinox, which just passed last weekend. And so this kind of backs up what I was thinking before. This would probably be a very Wicca influenced deck, or at least a contemporary like neo-pagan deck that in a way that is very influenced by Wicca, even if I have no idea if the creator identifies as Wiccan or not. But the fact of the matter is that not all witchy people call the equinox Mabon or care about the concept of Mabon. So that's just one thing I want to throw out there if anyone is confused. Anyway, I'll continue. It says, and look for a branch that evokes alignment and symmetry and speaks to you. If you feel empowered and in charge when you hold it, this is your wand. Some witches decorate their wands with crystals, paint, feathers, or stones. Charge your wand on the full moon with incense that evokes fire energy, such as cinnamon, ginger, allspice, and chant. Rod of fire, nature's wand, be charged, potent, and swift with might. So that's very cute. It's kind of cute. I like that. What I will say though, and I guess just take this with a grain of salt, but personally, I don't actually use a wand in my practice. Personally, I would rather use my hands to kind of direct energy. And so this idea of the wand, or we've also got the athame in here, these tools, or like this way of directing energy, working with tools to facilitate the movement of energy, that's going to be a very Wicca influenced thing. And so what I do want to say to anyone watching this or listening, I'm not smack talking this at all, but what I do want to say is, if you don't feel like you resonate with a wand, or you don't resonate with an athame, you can still be a witch. It's okay. Personally, I don't use either in my practice. I tried it when I was much younger. It never resonated, so I don't do it. And so if you are working with this deck or any other book that is saying like the witch's tools need to look like this, I just want to let you guys know, like, feel free to pick and choose, right? You don't have to work with an athame or a wand just because a deck or a book says that's what witches do, right? Like, you're welcome to adapt your practice to your own self, what resonates, what doesn't resonate, right? Like, the point of a witchcraft practice is for it to serve you, for it to feel in alignment with you, your own energy, and what resonates and how you want to work with and direct the energy, right? So that could be with a wand, and also could not be. Like, we all have our own practice, and I just want to throw that out there. So I think sometimes people do feel very like pressured that they need to go buy all the things because the book said so, or whatever said so. And like, it really is kind of up to you, which tools you feel resonant with. So I'll also read the athame. Like, personally, I don't use this, never have, but it's basically like a magical blade. So I'll read it. It says, known as the witch's ritual knife, the athame is a powerful active tool in witchcraft. The athame is traditionally a double-edged knife with a black or dark colored handle and represents air or fire, depending on the witch's tradition. Used exclusively for magical work, not for carving or other utilitarian purposes. Sorry, there's like a motorcycle outside. The athame is used to call in the elements, cast a circle, and invoke or banish energies. On a full moon, it paint magical symbols that represent manifestation action on your athame's handle, letting it dry under the moonlight. Totally cute activity, but again, not everyone is gonna really care about an athame. Again, personally, I feel like it's optional. But yeah, it does get talked about traditionally in conversations about witchcraft. There is also in Wicca and some other magical traditions too, the working knife, which is called a bowline. And so that is to cut plants and stuff like this, whereas this is to kind of direct energy, right? And it's interesting, there is no bowline. I don't know how you say that. It's how I've always heard it said in this deck. So just want to throw that out there. As with everything, we all have our own biases, right? And I think that's totally okay. I just want to point out the one in this deck. So let's see, what else can we say? Okay, we'll also read candle. So it says, with the shape-shifting powers of wax, candles represent the element of fire and faith, transformation, and inspiration. Actually, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I think I'm going to read like two. So there's so many categories here. I just want to I want to make sure that I get through all of this so it doesn't take 20 hours. So let's see, witch's broom, cup. And I do like the design of these. I think it's really cute. Divine spirit. I find this kind of interesting. Divine spirit as a witch's tool. Altar. Cauldron. Book of Shadows. Pretty cute. Okay, so that's category number 1. So category number 2 was supposed to be language of magic. So let me just turn over some of these. All right, cool. Language of magic. Let me just make sure these are. Okay, cool. So language of magic, category number 2. That's what it looks like on the back. Pretty cute. And so again, you'll see the design looks like this. This is how it's supposed to look like. And I'm curious when we're going to get to the ones that are messed up. But this is how it's supposed to look like. It's really beautiful, honestly. I think the design is really cute. So, okay, let's see. I guess I'll read this one. It says sun. The sun has many incarnations in occultism, such as Ra, Apollo, Hyperion, and Surya. I do not know who that is. The rays of solar deities bring us vitality, health, attraction, radiance, and renewal. Awake at dawn to greet the sun and stand near a window or outside, anointing yourself with frankincense, orange, or copal. Recite, O sun, you bring warmth to our soul energy and bones. Arise in me and bestow your golden rays of strength. Interesting. Visualize the sun inhabiting your cells and entering the crown of your head and reaching all the way to your feet. Repeat this chant 3 times, stretching out your arms as you soak up the sun's nourishment. Write down any illuminating thoughts in your book of shadows. So this kind of goes with what I was saying earlier, that it seems like a lot of these, it's not really a divination deck. It's more like prompts of just an invitation to engage with different elements of your spiritual practice. And so I think that's actually pretty cute. Like, I think if I was to pull this card for the day, I would just go out and walk on a sunny day, or even if it's cloudy, like see if I can still feel the sun, or meditate about the sun or something. And there's a little incantation here. Personally, I would never recite any of this stuff because I would create my own thing to recite. But if you are someone who maybe you're newer to the practice, maybe you don't feel very creative, maybe you feel afraid of like messing up like an invocation or something, and you just want to try it out and see how it feels. Like, it's kind of cute that there's some prompts here that can help like newer practitioners to feel more comfortable saying stuff. Like for me, one thing I will say is, like, one of the things I found really alienating about witchy stuff when I was younger was the kind of pomp and circumstance, right? Oh, sun, you know, like with the O, and it's like not an OH, it's like just the O by itself, and like bestow upon me, you know, do this, do that, arise, blah, blah, blah. And like, so for me, I find that language very like, it's too formal, like it stresses me out. And so I know some magical practitioners really love the formality of some of this old school kind of language being incorporated into magical witchy stuff. So I just want to throw out there, like, everyone's going to be vibing on different stuff, right? Maybe you are someone who loves like that old school language, or maybe you're more like me and would rather be like, sun, what is up? Like, please give me the good vibes, like, and be a little bit more chill, a little bit more conversational, a bit more casual about it. And that counts as witchy as well. I just want to throw that out there for anyone who just like is newer to the practice and isn't really too sure if this type of language is the only way to engage. It isn't. So I just want to throw that out there. I do think it's really cool. The creator has given some kind of sample invocations for anyone who is newer to the practice, right? And might need that, like that leg to kind of stand on as people get their bearings. So I think that's okay. So let's just see. So I'll show you guys Triple Goddess. My cat says hello. Hexagram. Wheel of the Year. Pentagram. Earth. Water. Fire. Air. And then moon. And so, yeah, there's an invocation on the moon one too, which personally I would never say, but that's okay. That is okay, because everyone's practice is different, and like, I think that's fine. And so I think it's cute. Honestly, I do like this deck. I know I've said that, even though I'm kind of giving some critiques. So let's see, number 3, Bonds of Love. So let me just see if I can find that. Okay, cool. So let's see. So this is what the back looks like for Bonds of Love. Again, I really like the artwork here. So let's see. Over the moon. And so these look like little spells. So actually, I'm going to read this one. Let's see what it says. Over the moon. Blend this love attraction oil inspired by the celestial bodies on a Friday or full moon to honor worldwide goddesses of love. Interesting. So essential oils, and it has a bunch of different oils. I won't give the whole recipe because I guess it doesn't really matter, but it has like 10 drops of this, 6 drops of that, like little drops of this. And it says, in an amber glass bottle, mix the essential oils and honey. Close the bottle, shake, and then fill with more oil to blend. Shake and apply as perfume. glow with the allure of the moon. Interesting. And so it's like a little ritual, I guess. Love attraction oil. So it's like a little recipe. If anyone is interested in that, let's see. And then here we go. Paramour, classic love spell to attract a mate. Maybe I'll read this for you guys too. So it says, carve your name, a heart, and the symbol of Venus on a pink candle and place on one end of your altar. On the opposite end, place a second pink candle. I think I know where this is going. Carved with the heart and symbol of Venus. Rub both candles down with some oils. Write down what you desire in a mate and place it on the altar. Light the candles and visualize yourself in a thriving partnership. Repeat this rite every night, moving the candles closer, so by the 7th day they're touching. Burn the letter and let the candles burn down. Hold out a loving cup. Are you ready to accept the energies that appear? I actually think this is so cute. I love this. And so some of them are kind of spells or rituals that you can try, which I think is just really fun. So these ones are about love. Venus, herbs of love. It's like a little potpourri mix, it looks like. Lovers Knot. Again, this is like a little simple ritual suggestion, it looks like. And this also looks like a ritual for separation, breakup, divorce. Let's see. And there is like a little error there on the card. Okay, let's see. And then Vesta, the Vestal Virgins of ancient Rome. Cool. And so that's that category. Let's see. Number 4 is abundance and good fortune. So let's just see if we can find that. Okay, cool. This is what the back looks like for this. Abundance and good fortune. It's green. Makes sense. So let's see. Mercury. Let's see, what is this? This is a mist to spray to allow thoughtful communication. This is kind of cute. And so it seems like some of them are rituals. It says like deck of spells, so it makes sense. I have no idea how to say this. This is apparently a goddess of abundance. Do not know what pantheon this entity is from. Let's see, Rose of Jericho. Jupiter. So this is like kind of abundance related stuff. Saturn. Lodestone, often used in money and magic. 4 winds of success. Scales of justice. Fortuna. Prospero. So that is that category. I'm not going to read anything from that because I feel like I've already read like so many of them to kind of give you guys the idea. So the next category is rites of purification, healing, and renewal. So let's see. Oh, whoops. These were also from the Bonds of Love category. So before we continue, Bed of Roses, Enchantment, and then Sappho. So I'm going to put that into that other category because I forgot that those were there. Let's see. So it was rites of purification. Let's see if I can find. Okay, cool. So this is what the deck looks like for this. Rites of purification, renewal. Okay, and so this is when it starts getting weird. Okay. Yeah, so this particular one ended up really messed up. So some of them look kind of normal, some of them don't. Okay. So I'll show you guys. No! It's cut off from the top. Boo! Healing balm. You'll also notice this Gaia is cut off from the top. So sad. And if you guys don't think it's that bad, let me just grab one from one of the other categories. It looks normal. And you guys can see the difference in, where everything is supposed to be. So the circle card, I think, is how the deck is supposed to be designed. And as you can see with the Gaia card, like everything is just cut off and misaligned. And even that bottom footer of which category it is, it's like so high. Like this should be lower like it is on this one. And so this really bothers me, and it's clearly like a printing error from the producers. It just like makes me sad. It makes me sad, you guys. And so pretty much, yeah, and like you'll just see like there's no rhyme or reason to it, even with this rights of purification renewal category, that it's like one of them, like this is probably too far down there, should not be that far down there. And so clearly like someone messed up somewhere that this happened. Makes me bummed out. But anyway, the cards for this are Lucidity, Chiron, which is about to be cut off as well. You can see it just like the formatting on this just looks like they totally messed this up. Gaia, I already showed you guys, it's messed up, so sad. Healing Balm. Hearth Blessing. Yeah, this one also is crazy. Like, look how far down this is. Like, the little words at the bottom, like, it's not supposed to be that way, as you could see from all the other cards I showed you guys. Here's Artemis, also about to be cut off with the weird formatting. Like, this is way too high up there. Uncrossing. This one looks a little kind of normal, I would say, more or less. This one also looks more or less normal, kind of. So that's that category. So it makes me bummed out, you guys. Okay. Oh yeah, this one, the witch bottle, for this category as well. Okay, so let's see the next category. We've got 3 categories left to talk about. And let's see, the next one is intuitive awareness. Let's see if I can find this. Oh, actually, no, we got fires of passion and creativity. That's the next one. Oh, man. Yeah, and so many of these are just like so messed up. So, okay, here's the back for fires of passion and creativity. It makes sense. Creativity is often associated with the second chakra, which is associated with the color of orange, that sacral chakra. So it makes sense that this would be orange for creativity. And so as you can see, this category also has messed up formatting and messed up printing. Neptune's little thing is cut off. It's so sad. Such a bummer, like, honestly. And you can see that like this is too high. It's craziness. Mars, I will show you guys the difference in how the formatting is supposed to be. Look at this. Look at this. Breaks my heart. And so I guess the quality control of this deck just really isn't there, unfortunately. Makes me bummed because I love the concept of this, and I think the art is really beautiful, and like the design is nice, but it's just the execution. Yeah, I'm just looking at the little booklet. It says manufactured in China, so I guess someone somewhere messed up with the production of this. Come to Me, Dragon's Blood ink. So I'm not sure about this. Maybe some like Santeros can let me know how they feel about this in the comments. Oshun. Because I don't really know if Santeria folks are down with like random people that are not in Santeria practicing with these beings. I don't know enough about it to really say, but I just want to throw that out there. I don't know. So I'd be curious to know how folks within those diasporic traditions feel about that. Because personally, I don't know. I don't think I would engage with the Orisha without like permission or some instruction from someone that is in those traditions, right? To make sure I'm not fucking anything up or doing anything that's kind of out of pocket. But that's kind of just my own stance on that. Anyway, stones of power. Frigid. So it's kind of all over the place in terms of like spiritual beings that it lists. Like it is a little bit eclectic. So if you are someone who is bothered by that, definitely take that on, because there we had an Orisha, which is part of the African diasporic traditions. And then we also have got a card that is about Brigid, a Celtic goddess. So there's some like mishmashing here of traditions. And so if you are someone who is into that or is not into that, just like take note, because that's definitely something that I'm seeing here. So, okay, let's see. Next one, Queen of Torches. I don't really know what that means. Blend of oils for when you need a confidence booster. Okay. 3 muses. And again, the kind of almost cut off. Unfortunate. Okay, and then the next category's got 2 categories left. Intuitive awareness. And unfortunately, this is also kind of cut off. So intuitive awareness, ancestors, and the little pumpkin is cut off. Makes me sad. Yeah, you guys, it's a thing. Let's see what else we got. Initiation. Temple. Third eye. Mugwort. Oh yeah, here we go, the double cards. Okay, I'll tell you guys at the end, the double card. Cut off, as you can see. The image is cut off for these gemstones. So the quality, and you can see like the bottom thing is like so high. I've heard this pronounced different ways. I've heard this pronounced Aradia, and I've also heard it pronounced Aradia. So there you go. Scrying. Priestess. And here we go. I was not making this up about getting 2 of one card, and maybe this is a sign. Maybe I need to hang out with. I've heard this pronounced multiple ways too. Hecate or Hecate. I've heard it pronounced like so many different ways. But as you'll see, I got 2 cards of this being. And so I don't think that's supposed to happen. Unfortunately, there's no list of what the cards are in each category. Okay, Choya, chill. And so I have no idea like which card I was supposed to get instead of 2 of this one. I just don't know. And so I found that kind of crazy that I got so there's like multiple issues happening. It's like there's a double card, and then there's also the misprinting of everything as well, which is crazy. And I will count everything as well to make sure that I don't have the right number of cards. I don't think I do. So I counted it before, but I just want to double check. Okay, anyway, so the last category is Witches Familiars, and the back of it looks like this. It's pretty cute. Actually, I really like this illustration. And so, yeah, the formatting is weird on this category too. I'll show you guys. So as you can see, like look how low this is, Witches Familiars, and then it's super high. And as you can tell, like this B is probably lower than it should be, and then this is higher than it should be. So I don't know how common this misprint is, or if I'm like a fluke or whatever, but I don't think it's not possible for there to be like one misprint. Like I would highly doubt it. So there you go. So Falcon and Bee, Serpent, Wolf. Let's see. Maya is saying the misalignment isn't too bad. You once got a deck where the imagery and text were misprinted at the steep angle. So you had to look diagonally to read the card. That's hilarious. What deck was that? I'm so curious. I would love to see photos of that too. And I'm curious, did you read with that? Because I'm kind of curious if some of these misprints are going to end up being worth a lot of money one day. You know, because like didn't they say like there was a misprint in like the first Harry Potter book or something, and if you got the misprint with the typo, it was going to be worth like $1 bazillion or something. Like, I don't know. So sometimes misprints can be more valuable than the original thing. So who knows? Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Owl, cat, and spider. So I will read one of the animal cards if you guys want. So if anyone is here, let me know which animal card you want me to read. And I do know that there is probably a slower mode than I intended there to be on the chat. I think I was afraid of trolls. But while I'm counting these cards, I'm going to write down how many is in each category and then add them up. So we'll see, because last time I counted, I had the wrong number of cards, so I might be missing some, right? So let me just, while I'm waiting for you guys to request an animal that you want me to read from the deck, let me just count them. So let's work backwards. So let's see which is familiars. I'm just gonna write this down. How many? 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, you guys. A bird just flew into my window and then flew away. That was so crazy. Did you guys hear that? Speaking of animal familiars, actually, I feel like that means that we should be reading about birds, either falcons or owls. Oh my God, that freaked me out. There was a time, I think last autumn, that same thing happened, but I was outside, and so I saw it happen. And it's weird because I actually don't have any lights on right now, so I don't know why the bird flew into my window. But it actually was going so fast that it died and like dropped dead, like right on my front porch, basically. And so I ended up being the witch in the building, buried it in the backyard and did some prayers and everything to like make its spirit pass on safely. So thankfully I didn't just have to do that again, as that bird flew away. Did you guys just see that? Oh my God, I was just like frazzled by that. That was crazy. Whoa. Okay, so anyway, back to counting. And if anyone does have any animal requests, let me just see. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 animal cards. Let me just write that down. 7. Let's see. And then the creativity. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me write that down. And you can also see on some cards actually where the print registration marks are. I didn't really show you guys that, but I definitely will do that just as I am done counting. I might leave the intuitive one with Hecate for last. God, I'm so frazzled about that bird. Like, I just saw that happen and it was scary. Poor bird. I wonder why that happens. You know, like, because I'm not in like a skyscraper, so I don't know. Okay, so the next category I'm going to count is rites of purification. And so let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 for that category as well. The next category I'm going to count is abundance and good fortune. So let's just see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got 10 in that category. Next category is the love category. So I'm going to count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Next category is the language of magic. Let's see how many we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Well, I'm seeing a pattern here. Okay, and then witches' tools. Let's see what we got. Maybe we also have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we got 10 there. And so the last category is that intuitive awareness category. We got 2 of the Hecate card. Weird. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so intuitive. So it's 9 plus 2 Hecate cards. So I think that's technically 10 cards plus 1. So maybe I'm missing. So it's supposed to be 78 cards. It looks like I'm missing one of the familiars. Because then that would make sense if everything else is 8. Or sorry, if everything else is 10, and then the familiars is 7. So I guess I did get 78 cards, but what was wrong is that 2 of them are the Hecate card. Kind of weird. Oh my god, you guys. Craziness. I still can't believe that poor bird flew in. Well, maybe we should read the Hecate card, and we'll also read a bird card. Because there's 2 Hecate cards, so we might as well just read it. And if anyone's got any questions about this deck while we're here. Here it is, the double card. And yeah, I'm curious what animal is missing, you guys. What would it be? So it says, Hecate, dark mother and Greek goddess of the underworld, crossroads, and the night sky, illuminates the past, present, and future of life's unknown voyages. Feeling lost or afraid to face your own darkness, at night take 2 purple candles to a secluded place in nature or to an actual crossroads. Light 1 candle and hold it in your left hand, then light the second candle from the first. Boldly walk in a circle 3 times and let the torches light up your path. I'm sure a lot of people would be like, what is that person doing? Pay attention to what you notice, sounds of wildlife, or the feeling of grass under your feet. What frightens you most? Let Hecate's wisdom empower you and grant you courage to overcome life's most challenging obstacles. So maybe I should do that since I got 2 of that card. Kind of random. But okay, it's good to count them all so we kind of see. And let me just count the witches' familiars again to make sure I'm not, it's kind of weird. Let's find out. Nope, there is only 7. I am not crazy. So that must be the card that's missing. So we have a missing witch's familiar card. And so, okay, I'm going to read the falcon, actually. Okay, so the falcon says, the falcon, a mystic bird of communication, is revered as a symbol of power. In Egyptian mythology, the god Horus, ruler of the sky, was often depicted as a falcon. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier, that this deck does seem very eclectic and kind of non-denominational in a way that it kind of brings in a lot of different pagan ideas. So that is, again, just something to notice if you are really into that, or if you're not into that and you're considering getting this deck. The falcon represents a moment to people watch and practice active listening skills. On a Wednesday, go bird watching at a local park. And I'm assuming Wednesday because it's like communication, kind of Mercury day. Watch and listen for birds and humans alike. When the falcon appears, messages are to be given or received, so stay alert and recognize when to speak and when to listen, for there is a delicate balance. Effective communication, the timing of it is Mercury and falcon magic at its best. Actually, at my old apartment, there was a falcon that would hang out on the temple next door to me, which was pretty crazy. But I want to draw your guys' attention to the print registration marks that you can kind of see here. So you can see it right here on the side, that little black line. And so that is where that's supposed to be cut. So clearly this is a little bit more off center than it's supposed to be. So this is just stuff that I noticed as someone with a background in design. And again, if you're arriving a little bit late, like everything is kind of misaligned here. So I did want to just show you guys a few other of the registration marks. I think there was more crazy examples. But clearly something went wrong with the production of this deck, unfortunately, in terms of all of that. Let's see. I'm kind of feeling, I don't know if I want to spend all the time of finding the different things, but you guys know what I mean. You can kind of see what I was talking about, right? With like those registration marks just being a little bit weird. And so, yeah, I've got a missing card. So there's 3 problems. Missing card, double of a card, and then the misregistration of everything. So there's 3 problems with this particular printing. And so I know a lot of people might not give a shit. And so, you know, that's okay. Personally, I wish it was kind of a perfect deck, but, you know, because I really want to know, like, what's the missing animal? You know, what's the missing animal that it was going to tell me about? I'm really curious. And, you know, we could also see this as a sign that maybe I should go hang out with Hecate or Hecate, or however you say this, because there's 2. That was interesting. That was the double that I'm given, right? So it's with all of these things magical, like we can always read into things, you know, even something like a misprint or errors with this deck being produced. I got 2 of Hecate, so maybe through the divine movements of the universe, that is her being like, what is up, Sabrina? We need to hang out. Why have you been avoiding me? You know, we can also read it that way. And so there's lots of different ways that we can see these different print errors, but I just wanted to throw that out to you guys. If you're considering grabbing this deck, do notice that you also might get a copy with these issues, whether it's the exact same issues or similar issues or whatever. You might get you know, misprints where it's misaligned. You might get double cards. You also might get cards missing. And so from my count, there is supposed to be 10 different cards in each of these 8 categories. I would assume, except for the familiars section where it's supposed to have 8, but I only got 7 cards. And again, the double of the Hecate card in the intuitive category. So that is my opinion about this deck. This is a pretty thorough walkthrough of it. And so now I'm going to put it back. Does anyone have any questions before I put everything away? And again, it is really beautiful. Like, I think the creators, the writer and the artist did a good job. And I usually find things from Chronicle Books to be really well produced. Like, I do own a lot of products made by them. You can see this little glasses logo, that's Chronicle Books. Like, I do tend to find their objects to be really beautifully produced, very artistic, very well thought out. And unfortunately, I don't know what was going on, but I guess you can kind of even see that this outside box even has got this this issue. Both the outside box, if you guys can see that, it has like a little, you know, part that's coming off. And you can also see that, as I said before, with this, you can kind of see it coming off there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see. Maya saying the chat isn't letting me send messages. Oh no. Hopefully I'll try to fix that for next time. But if this goes through, hold on to the deck. It might be worth a lot of money in a decade. Yeah, I will. Like, I don't tend to throw away any decks. Like, I do have a pretty big deck collection. And so who knows, maybe it's a message from the universe. I need to go hang out with Hecate and, whatever animal was on the missing animal deck. I guess maybe I'm just not supposed to hang out with that animal. Who knows? And so anyway, again, this has been the spells deck. My little review and walkthrough, some commentary on the quality of the print. So, my design nerd background, I always want to comment on that too. You guys can kind of see. Obviously, I was attracted to how beautiful the design is, but clearly, yeah, the print production just wasn't quite it for me. So there it is. Make your own opinion. I'd be curious to know if anyone else buys this. If you do end up getting a deck with similar issues, different issues, or maybe you got a perfect one where everything was aligned and you don't get any double cards or missing cards, let me know. I would be curious. And thank you so much for watching this walkthrough. Thank you for spending some of your day or night with me. I really appreciate it. I know there's a lot of things y'all can be doing. So if you do like what I have to say, if you do like the channel, please subscribe. Please tell your friends about it, whatever it is you want to do. The subscribes and comments and likes and shares, it all does really help the channel get to more people. And as I'm trying to grow on YouTube, not just on Instagram, I would really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. I appreciate you spending some of your time with me. Bye, friends. If you get the deck, let me know what you think. Okay, bye.